One album, one title, and suddenly the internet is in full detective mode. The moment Bruno Mars dropped The Romantic, fans didn't just listen. They analyzed, decoded, and obsessed. Every lyric, every pause, every hidden meaning started pointing toward one name that refuses to stay out of the conversation: Jessica Caban. If you think this is just another love album, think again, because what fans are uncovering might completely change how you hear these songs. Right after the release, search terms like Bruno Mars The Romantic meaning, Bruno Mars Jessica Caban relationship, and Is the Romantic about Jessica Caban exploded online. This wasn't just hype, it was curiosity at its peak. Listeners began diving deep into the lyrics, convinced that this project feels far too personal to be purely fictional. Bruno's voice across the album carries something different this time. It's softer in some places, heavier in others, layered with emotion that feels raw, almost unfiltered. The themes? Love, distance, longing, and something unresolved. And that's exactly where speculation begins to take over. For years, Bruno Mars and Jessica Caban have kept their relationship away from constant media exposure. No dramatic headlines, no public back and forth, just quiet consistency. But that privacy has only made fans more alert. Because when there's silence, even the smallest detail becomes a signal. In one of the standout moments on the album, there's a line about someone who always finds their way back, no matter how far they drift. That single lyric alone sent fans into a frenzy. Is it about a breakup, a reconciliation, or a love that never really left? Now here's where things get even more interesting. Midway through the album, the tone subtly shifts. The production becomes more intimate, the lyrics more reflective. Feels less like storytelling and more like confession. Fans started connecting timelines, matching lyrics to moments when Bruno and Jessica were rarely seen together in public. Some believe these songs were written during a period of distance between them. Coincidence? Maybe, but the pattern feels too precise for many to ignore. And yet, not all theories point to heartbreak. Another wave of fans believes The Romantic isn't about an ending at all. Instead, they see it as a quiet declaration of enduring love. A story about two people navigating challenges, choosing each other behind closed doors, away from the noise. A relationship that doesn't need validation from the spotlight to survive. And through all of this, Bruno Mars remains completely silent. No interviews confirming meanings, no posts explaining lyrics, just music, left open for interpretation. And maybe that's intentional. Maybe the mystery is part of the experience. Because just when fans thought they had it figured out, one detail changed everything. In one particular track, listeners noticed a subtle reference to a place long associated with Bruno and Jessica's past. It's never directly named, but it's specific enough that longtime fans immediately recognized it. That moment sparked a whole new wave of theories. Suddenly, the album didn't feel like speculation anymore. Felt like memory, not just a collection of songs, but fragments of real experiences, carefully hidden in melody and metaphor. So is The Romantic truly about Jessica Caban? There's no official answer. There probably never will be. But for many fans, the emotion alone is enough proof. Because what Bruno delivers here doesn't feel imagined. It feels lived. And that might be the real reason this album is taking over conversations everywhere. In a world that demands clear answers, Bruno Mars offers something different: questions, layers, interpretations. And somehow that makes people listen even closer. So now it comes down to you. After hearing the clues, after connecting the dots, do you believe The Romantic is a reflection of his relationship with Jessica Caban? Or is it simply a universal love story that feels personal to everyone who hears it? Drop your thoughts, because this mystery is far from over, and something tells us Bruno Mars wants it that way. And just when it seemed like fans had reached a conclusion, a new layer of the mystery began to unfold. Because the deeper listeners went into The Romantic, the more they started noticing something unusual. Not just in the lyrics, but in the structure of the album itself. The sequencing, the emotional progression, even the way certain songs seem to answer each other, it all feels intentional. almost like a conversation happening beneath the surface. What stands out is how the opening tracks feel distant, almost guarded. There's love there, but it's cautious. Kalimantan about hesitation, about holding back, about trying not to fall too hard again. Then, as the album progresses, that wall slowly begins to break. The vulnerability becomes undeniable. The emotions grow heavier, more specific, more real. Fans began to ask, why does it feel like we're hearing a relationship evolve in real time? And once again, the spotlight circles back to Bruno Mars and Jessica Caban. Because this isn't the first time Bruno has channeled real emotion into his music. But this time feels different. This time, it feels less polished and more exposed. Almost like he's letting listeners into moments that were never meant to be public. There's one particular section of the album that fans can't stop talking about. A track where the lyrics hint at distance, not just physical but emotional. Lines that suggest missed calls, late-night thoughts, and the feeling of being close to someone but somehow still far away. Subtle but powerful. And here's where the tension builds. Some listeners believe this is the turning point, the moment in the album where everything nearly falls apart. The moment where love is tested, where silence becomes louder than words. And if that interpretation is true, then what comes next becomes even more important. Because the final stretch of the album tells a completely different story. The tone shifts again, but this time it's warmer, softer. There's a sense of acceptance, maybe even reconciliation. Lyrics about understanding, about growth, about choosing love despite everything. It doesn't feel like an ending, it feels like a resolution. And that's where the payoff hits. If the album really is telling a story, then it's not about losing someone. It's about almost losing them, and realizing what truly matters before it's too late. That interpretation has sparked a massive wave of discussion online, because it reframes everything. Suddenly, the earlier songs don't feel like heartbreak, they feel like build-up. The conflict before the clarity, the storm before the calm. But there's still one question that refuses to go away. Why keep it hidden? Why not just say it directly? And the answer might lie in what makes Bruno Mars such a compelling artist in the first place. He doesn't just tell stories, he lets people find themselves inside them. By leaving space for interpretation, he turns every listener into part of the narrative. Still, the clues are hard to ignore. From recurring imagery to specific emotional callbacks, fans have pointed out patterns that feel too precise to be random. Some have even suggested that certain lyrics mirror things Jessica Caban has shared in past interviews. Subtle overlaps that only the most dedicated followers would catch. And that's what keeps this conversation alive. It's not just about whether the album is about Jessica Caban. It's about how real it feels, how relatable it becomes, how it manages to blur the line between public art and private emotion. Because at the end of the day, the romantic isn't just being listened to, it's being experienced. Every replay reveals something new, a word that hits differently, a line that suddenly makes sense, a connection that wasn't obvious before. And that's exactly why fans keep coming back. The mystery isn't fading, it's growing. And maybe that's the biggest clue of all. Because if this album were simple, if it had clear answers and obvious meanings, it wouldn't be sparking this level of obsession. It wouldn't be trending, dissected, debated across platforms. But it is, and that says everything. So now, as the conversation continues to evolve, one thing becomes clear. The romantic has done more than just introduce new music. It has reignited interest in the story behind the artist. It has brought Bruno Mars and Jessica Caban back into the spotlight, not through headlines, but through interpretation. And maybe that's the most powerful kind of storytelling there is. No confirmations, no denials, just emotions translated into sound. So whether you believe this is a deeply personal love story or a carefully crafted illusion, one thing is undeniable: people are listening closer than ever. And they're not stopping anytime soon. Now it's your turn to decide. Because the more you listen, the more the lines begin to blur. And just when the conversation feels like it's starting to settle, another wave of analysis pulls everyone right back in. Because fans aren't just listening to the lyrics anymore, they're studying the silences between them. The pauses, the production choices, the way certain words are almost whispered instead of sung. It all feels deliberate, like there are emotions being held back on purpose. That's what makes the romantic feel different. It's not loud about its message. It doesn't demand attention, pulls you in slowly, and then it stays with you. As more listeners revisit the album, a new theory has started to gain traction. One that suggests the story isn't linear at all. Instead of following a straight timeline, some believe the tracks are arranged like memories, out of order, overlapping, sometimes contradicting each other, just like real emotions. And if that's true, then the entire narrative becomes even more complex. Because now, those moments of distance might not come before the moments of closeness. They might exist at the same time. Love and uncertainty, connection and confusion, all happening simultaneously. Fans quickly began mapping out alternative track orders, trying to reconstruct the real story hidden beneath the official sequence. And interestingly, no matter how they rearranged it, one pattern kept appearing, a cycle. Falling in love, pulling away, finding each other again. And once again, the names Bruno Mars and Jessica Caban are at the center of it all. Because for those who have followed their relationship over the years, that cycle feels familiar. Not dramatic, not chaotic, but real. A long-term connection that has gone through phases, just like any relationship that exists beyond the early spotlight. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. Some fans are beginning to question whether the album is only about romance at all. There's a growing belief that the romantic might actually be about identity, about the pressure of being seen as a romantic figure in the public eye, about living up to an image that the world has already decided for you. In that interpretation, the lyrics take on a completely different meaning. Suddenly, lines that once felt like they were directed at a partner start to sound like they're directed inward. Doubt, expectation, the fear of not being enough, not just for someone else, but for the version of yourself that people believe in. And that dual meaning, that's what keeps listeners hooked. Because now the album isn't just one story, it's two stories happening at once. One that might be about Jessica Caban, and one that might be about Bruno Mars himself. The public figure versus the private person, the performer versus the partner, and somewhere in between, the truth. The tension builds again when fans notice something else: visual clues tied to the album's rollout.